Welcome to this inside look of the My Life and Wishes platform. What you're seeing is what the user sees when they log in. This is after they have entered their username, unique password, and in most cases, as we encourage everyone to do so, entering a code sent to them via SMS text message or email for two-factor authentication. There are two ways to navigate. One is down the left-hand sidebar, and one from the home page is right down the center column. But first I'll call your attention down the left-hand bar under My Account. This is where the settings and user information is. So by clicking on Account Settings, this is where it will show the information. So the account information in the drop-down will be the owner of the account or the user. This is where they also can update or change their password if they need to, and enable the two-factor authentication if they had not done so when they originally signed in for the very first time. Again, we encourage people to do that. If it is not set up, they can manage it from within the app. By clicking Send Text Code or Email, they can save their changes. From that point forward, at any time they desire to log into their account, they'll be prompted to enter the code, which will be sent electronically to them. In this case, there is an account co-owner, so individuals can have a single account or they can add a co-owner who has the exact same access and privileges within the account. There is no additional cost for that. And there's also a section to add authorized users. An authorized user might be an adult child, could be an advisor, an attorney. This is where you can provide limited access or certain rights to an authorized user. To add that user, you would put in their first and last name, their valid email address, and you can select exactly what they can see or can't see or can do and not do within the account. Most often, people will allow them to see their personal information. Maybe not financial, maybe yes to family, documents and accounts. Many times an advisor has access for their client in this case where they could upload copies of information electronically for them. Once the information and viewing privileges are granted, you can either click the Add Authorized User button and it will notify and email them immediately, or if you wish to do it at a later time, by clicking I want to generate the notification myself, it'll save the information within the portal. And at such time the individual wishes to add that user, they can log back in and click the Add Authorized User button. Also, within the account settings, they'll find the billing information as well as the print summary information. In our demo account, it's not set up as a yearly subscription, but under the yearly subscription, the individual can click to print and download a full PDF of everything stored within their site. Okay, returning to our home screen, we'll start with personal information. And under personal information, and as you can see, I mentioned there's a co-owner. So when there is a co-owner, there will always be a second tab for the co-owner to enter their information. This is where you gather the phone numbers, email addresses, secondary emails, date of birth, place of birth, social security numbers, driver's licenses, addresses, your main residence, perhaps a vacation home, or any other timeshare type property an individual may have. Place to list out healthcare providers. For Joe, Jane can list hers, shared providers. And you can provide as much or as little information on the provider as you wish. What their specialty is, phone numbers, addresses, or any other pertinent information you wish to list. Employer information can be added. Some people do, some don't. I always encourage people to put as much as possible, going all the way back in time from previous employers. It's almost like a resume reminder, if you will. Education. Many people list simply their university. I've gone a little deeper with my own and added everything going right back to grade school, because I moved quite a bit, had several different schools that I went to, and I know for a fact that my children wouldn't have a clue as to any that I actually had attended. Again, school name, any information, dates attended, degree pursued, and a free-form area for any notes that can be added to the information. Okay, going to financial information. This is where you can provide the details on bank accounts, loans, credit cards, other investments. Bank accounts would be obviously checking, savings. You'll notice that most of these have link outs to the actual institutions themselves. But the format throughout the entire platform intuitively guides people. So there are some items that are required, some aren't. So as an example, the institution name is required and the type of account is required by selecting the drop down or other, and then you can list out what that other type of account is. We don't require account numbers for those that don't want to put all that much detail in there. But again, we're simply building a roadmap for our family as to where things are located, which saves tremendous amounts of time. Additional information such as how statements are sent, whether they're emailed, where do you keep the checks and the checkbook, information relative to the ATM, as well as the login credentials to the financial institution. Username, password, and again, we always encourage individuals to put security questions and answers in, or challenge questions. That was one of the biggest issues we had following the passing of my father-in-law in trying to gain access to his account, was knowing the challenge questions. Okay, there's also a place for Jane to list her accounts and any joint accounts that would be listed. Same applies for loans. In this case, we've simply just entered all the joint loans in, such as auto, mortgage loans for Joe and Jane. Credit card information also, you can see these can be linked out to accounts, but again, it's very intuitive for people to walk through what type of a card is it, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, or other. This would be, the Shell gas station card, J.C. Penney's cards, and the like. Name of the issuing bank, name on the card. Again, we don't require them to put their card number in. Every little bit helps family. Just if they know what card, who's the bank, at least it gives them the roadmap. But you can provide all that information, such as the card number, the expiry date, the CVV codes, and the link out to the website of the servicing credit card holder. The same holds true for investments. This is where you can have information regarding all the investment accounts, be them 401ks, IRAs, with link outs to the websites, name of who the advisor contact is. You can enter values to keep them up to date, the date of the last value, where the information is located. We always encourage to put who the financial advisor is within the section. Okay, going back. Oh, one thing I will note, in every section there's a bar for the user. It says, I'd like help with this section. And what that will do is actually take them right to our tool menu, which explains everything within those various accounts. Okay, family, a section to enter information about children within the platform, other family members such as brothers, sisters, parents, which is also quite helpful to us, under children. As an example, my wife and I were recently at the bank filling out some POD, payable on death forms, and the banker asked us for the social security numbers of our children. And having 6, ordinarily we would have needed to go home and get that information, but we were able to log into our account from our mobile device and provide our banker with that information immediately. Advisors and contacts. This is where we list out who our financial broker is, our accountant, insurance agent, the attorney. Place for the attorney's information or the advisor's information, their firm, their address, phone number, their email address, URL, and the services provided, and it's, and again, free form. So, hey, if something happened to me, Bob knows everything. He knows where it's located. Talk to Bob. Same for Jane, as well as any shared advisors that they may have. Under general contacts, we pre-populate this with some information already. It's already included, so Equifax, Experian, Medicare, Social Security, TransUnion, the VA would be listed. But this is another area where individual can add, contacts, who maybe should be notified in the event of my passing, who might not see an obituary, if you will. So it could be an old college roommate, could be an alumni association, any instructions that you'd wish to leave for them. Okay, documents and accounts. This is where the important information is stored. So under documents, this is where we would upload digital copies of everything that really matters, the important things, the birth certificate, living will, notes to family, the actual will, trust documents. Whenever you click on view detail in any of these, it will indicate that there are supporting documents. To actually access those, we'd simply go into our edit, see there's a personal note to Susie, to Tommy, to Sally. These are the things we encourage people to do. It's always the question of, if I knew I wasn't going to be here tomorrow, what would I tell my wife today? What would I tell my children today? And this is a place to upload those and store them securely. Insurance policies, again, the group life, individual life insurance policy, long-term care policy, your homeowner's insurance policy, any other insurance policies. And again, you can provide as much or as little information as you desire within the portal. But who the insurance agent is, their phone number. In this case, it's Bob Smith, so see the advisor section. Policy number, the face amount, beneficiaries, and again, a copy of the declarations page uploaded into the portal. That simple act alone will save massive amounts of time for people in trying to locate documents. Again, following the passing of my father-in-law, we found probably somewhere near 10 or 11 insurance policies that he'd had through the years, which required us to make phone calls to a tremendous amount of insurance companies to find out whether or not those policies were still active. Place for any shared policies also, such as maybe it's a joint long-term care contract. Accounts. These are the places where we put information such as our email credentials, logins, so that people could access and take down the accounts. Under shared accounts, this is things like your home accounts, such as cable or internet. Who services the pool, the security system, and access. Again, you can list the type of an account, the account number, the company, any phone number to that company, the login credentials with passwords and challenge questions. Utilities and any other household accounts there may be. And then website logins. These are the things that we often forget about or to share with family. But one of the biggest challenges we see for so many families is something as simple as Facebook, not being able to take down their Facebook account or their LinkedIn account. I don't want to be that guy that wishes somebody a happy birthday on their Facebook account, not knowing that they passed away. So in any event, so such things as your Amazon Prime, your Facebook, your password manager, because even though we all have the convenience of using password manager, so we only have one, we still have to provide what that password is to someone in order for them to be able to access the details that they need. Anytime earlier within the app, whenever you listed a website address to a linked account, such as a bank or financial institution, they will automatically pre-populate over into this section. And referencing back to Facebook, this is where you can, obviously list the URL, username, password, security questions, but this is where you list out your personal instructions for that account. Just delete it, take it down, or memorialize it. But the only way the family can do that, if you have an assigned legacy contact within the Facebook app itself, is for them to be able to log in utilizing your own credentials. Any shared websites, again, these would be to utilities, mortgage, any banks, cable TV, auto loans. Another important one is how do they access all the photos and memories that I have stored up in iCloud. End of life. Okay. Good friend of mine, Nick Berard, a couple of years back, when we told him about our program, he looked at me with wide eyes and he said, "Wow." And I was like, "What? Is everything okay?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "But I wish I knew Mom had wanted to be cremated before I buried her." And that's a true story because so often people don't talk about those kind of things. So under end of life, this is an area that intuitively guides the user to complete the information, what they would want. So we'll look at Jane's because she hasn't filled anything out yet. There's a section for any eulogy or obituary notes. I always jokingly say I want to write my own eulogy because I want somebody to say something nice about me when I pass. But in all seriousness, my mother-in-law, probably as recently as a year ago, and this has been 5 years since my father-in-law's passing, she wants to run a new obituary because we forgot to put certain things in that she would have wanted. So, this is a good place to put things that you might want people to remember. The institution that handle the arrangements, and then treatment of the body. Do you want to be buried or cremated? Where do you want that final place of rest to be? Who will perform the service? Pallbearers, speakers that you might desire, any special music notes, food or drinks you would want. Where should flowers and donations be sent? What about any kind of memorial markers and other information that you might wish to include at that point? So that takes care of final arrangements. Gifts and plans. Families should divide things. Things shouldn't divide families. And all too often we hear of family members who haven't spoken with one another for years following the loss of a family member. And they do. They fight over certain things. So this is a place to capture things that you might want to provide to certain individuals without there being a fight, and things that ordinarily wouldn't be included in a will. Such as it could be firearms given to my brother, the Omega watch given to Tommy, the tools to Tommy. Wedding ring obviously goes to my wife if she's still around. So you can include a multitude of information in here, such as the location of the will, where we're going to find it, who's the executor, trust location, trustees, and then by adding additional gifts at any time, we can indicate what it is. The fine china, who should receive it, Susie, under what circumstances, my death of my spouse or partner, death of both of us, estimated value. So, I know that for many people, we often hear of family members, again, fighting over certain things. I know that my mother-in-law has promised the china to both my wife and to her sister. So I'm not sure how they'll work that out, but I'm sure it will work out. And then finally, some healthcare directives. These are places where you can fill out your desires if the individual doesn't have advance directive, which of course we encourage, but they can indicate their desires for time and life support, whether or not they have a DNR, summarize any wishes you might want, any organ or tissue donation. And then, of course, if you do have advance directive, this is where you can upload that documentation. And let's not forget our furry friends. This is where we can add information about our pets. I recently spoke with a woman, and I can't remember the kind of exotic bird that it is, but she said it can live up to like 40 to 50 years. Well, she will likely pass before the bird does. And then what would she want to have happen with that bird? So by adding a pet, you can indicate some important information for who should be taking care of it, such as the pet, the type, the breed, approximate year of birth, so they know how old it is, desired new home for the pet upon my death, care instructions such as food and exercise, the very important temperament, behavioral notes, who the veterinarian is, any medical issues, any medication, where the meds and supplies are kept, any end-of-life instructions for the pet. Okay, those pets are family too. Okay, and then lastly, within here is we just have a section for veterans benefits. Again, pre-populated with the VA phone number. If a person was a veteran, this would where they would, upload their discharge papers, any other documentation they might have, all very helpful for the family. So that is a quick 20-minute run through of the platform. There's so much more that can be done with this. I welcome the opportunity to provide more information to you. Should you have any questions, please email me at John, which is Jon, at mylifeandwishes.com. And I look forward to speaking with you soon.